Frank Bernardo here, and with me today is the number 10 ranked UFC featherweight Arnold Allen ahead of his fight with Sodiq Yusuff on April 10th. How are you, Arnold?
I'm good, mate. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, fight week is rapidly approaching. How have you found this whole camp so far?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's the tail end of the camp now, so my body's a bit beaten up. I'm ready for that fight week, rest week. So get a bit of recovery and get primed and ready to fight. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
And of course, you've been training out in Canada at the moment. What's the whole experience been like for you training under COVID guidelines and whatnot?
Yeah, so the gym's been shut out here for a while, so just kind of like making it work and sort of ducking and diving and training on my own and getting up in the mountains and doing rocky stuff and yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, speaking of Sodiq Yusuff as an opponent, then when you look at him, when you analyze his tape, what do you see as the major threats coming from his way, and then also the major weaknesses and how you might exploit them?
Yeah, he's like myself. He's a young, hungry prospect. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw big shots. He looks physically strong. He's got, he keeps pressing. He's very aggressive. Good power in his right hand. So all those things. Solid jab, throws good kicks. Yeah, he's got the whole package. He's a good grappler, good top game. Have to be just have to be on my game. You know what I mean? I have to bring out the best of me, I think. So it's going to be good.
I'm sure you want the finish. With a couple of your more recent fights going to decision, what do you reckon is the most likely route to victory? Should you pursue the big stoppage, be it KO or submission?
Yeah, I mean, I've proven I can knock people out. Well, not in the UFC, I haven't, but I've had submissions. I can submit people. I can submit black belts. Yeah, I've got power in my hands. I know it, and this is a fight to show it for sure. Like everyone wants a knockout, right?
Of course, that highlight reel. And then this fight, where should you or when you defeat Sodiq, where does it land you? Like, first of all, just within rankings alone, where do you think you're going to be put within that top 10?
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm like, we're both kind of like 1-1, right? I think I'm 10, he's 11.
Yep.
They keep changing it. He's been 10, I've been 11. Like, well, I don't know. They change it every week, but we haven't fought in a year, so I don't get it. But yeah, with a win here, the way is up, right? Like, I don't want to fight number 12 next with a win here, so I want someone in the top 10, someone. I mean, ideally top 5 if that's possible, but like they're all kind of tied up. So if there's anything opening up in there, for sure, I want to keep climbing, keep going up.
Of course. And then, yeah, I mentioned you off camera. Of course, with much of the division tied up, Zabit Magomedsharipov would appear to be one of the few names in the top upper echelons of featherweight. Not currently booked or suspended or injured. How do you see him as a potential future opponent?
Yeah, I mean, he's fun to watch. He's obviously really good. He's an elite level athlete, right? But yeah, there's definitely holes in his game. I ain't really focused on him at the minute. But like, I was. Why? Do you know why he's been out for so long? Has he been injured or something?
He's been booked for the Yair fight twice, I think, and Yair's dropped out. And now Yair is suspended, so he's just sort of in limbo.
Just waiting for Yair. Well.
Yeah. Well, again, when you fight, when you watch fighters like Zabit, like Yair, like people within that top echelons of featherweight, how often do you watch it as from like a fan perspective, just enjoying the sport for what it is, or how often do you watch it to analyze these people as future opponents?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I watched Holloway's fight with Qatar recently. Like, it's hard not to watch it like a fan. It was such a great performance. It was fun to watch. They didn't even that was easy. But sometimes when there's someone like, it's not so exciting or something. You think you end up sort of critiquing everything. Even if I'm watching myself, I'm thinking, what am I doing there? But yeah, I don't watch too many fights anymore as a fan, to be honest. I'll either watch it if it's my friends or it's someone I'm gonna fight or something like that, or if it's one of the big ones, you know.
Okay, so once this fight is over with Yusuff, how many fights are you looking to get within 2021?
Yeah, I'd like to get 3 or 4. You know, my plan in 2020 was to get busy and get active, and obviously that got pooped on. I fought in January, and yeah, I was like, right, gonna keep the ball rolling. I wasn't booked, but I was. They were gonna book me for June, so I was gonna fight June. I was like, right, that's cool. 2 fights, first half of the year, get another 2, get 4 in, and then next thing I'm still scratching my thumbs, scratching my ass over here. So yeah, yeah.
Do you think so? Should you get 4 fights, and obviously you're presuming you're going to get the win in all these, would that culminate in? Do you think a title fight could be end of the year, maybe start of next year? Is that realistic? Do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with a win here, I mean, I feel like with a win here, I'd have the longest streak in the division, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, like why not give me a top 10 guy after, and with a win there, like why not? You know. So it's yeah, for sure.
And then we had the Volkanovski versus Ortega fight, which has unfortunately dropped off. Could I get your take on that fight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think Volkanovski could win that. You know, people got caught up a lot in his last performance, Ortega's last performance with Korean Zombie, but yeah, I don't think he made massive improvements. He just sort of he stuck to a game plan. You know, Korean Zombie doesn't really do good with people that move around, and Ortega moved. That was it. Zombie does great when people stand in front of him, right? Hence the nickname Zombie. He just sort of walks you down and he's in front of you, you're in front of him. He does great. But yeah, Volkanovski, he's really impressive. Every time he fights, he sort of, you know, he sticks to a solid game plan. He always comes out. He always impresses. And, you know, with the fights of Holloway, look how good Holloway looked in his last, but then he weren't able to do that to Volkanovski. So, you know, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I feel Volkanovski.
And then speaking of Holloway, Dana White has, of course, essentially guaranteed him a direct title shot, regardless of the winner of Ortega versus Volk. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he deserves it?
Yeah, like, absolutely. You know, he's beat Ortega pretty comfortably before. You know, if he wins the belt, then for sure he deserves a rematch against him. And then obviously with Volkanovski, they've had 2 fights. You know, I think the second one was more controversial than the first. So, you know, he definitely deserves a trilogy with Volkanovski, even though it's 2 losses. But you know, everyone scored it the other way. So I don't know. He definitely deserves a rematch with either of those guys.
Yeah, and then we mentioned earlier how impressive Holloway's performance against Calvin Kattar looked, and especially his whole moniker of "I'm the best boxer in the UFC." But I've got to say, you've got some relatively underrated boxing, especially with the quick jab and whatnot. How do you reckon a fight between yourself and Holloway would take place on the feet? Do you think you could go strike for strike with him?
Yeah, I think so. His main thing, I always thought with Holloway, he's like a Diaz with like more fight IQ. You know what I mean? Not that they don't have fight IQ, but the way they fight, they just they get in your face and they throw shots and they just try and break you. But you know, he does that, but he's using his brain too.
Okay, and then lastly, we recently saw the major controversy with Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, which was the fight was called off due to the eye poke. Do you think the UFC needs to start implementing some sort of change, be it through the curved glove or a change of rules? What are your thoughts on that matter?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one because I've seen obviously people. I can't remember who designed them. Someone made the glove with they were curved, and the Bellator ones are a little bit curved. I've seen them, but I think it still happens. And I think unless it was a perfect design, I don't really know what you could do other than because if they're forcing your hand to be like closed like that, a lot of people don't like that, you know. If you want to grapple, you grab, and it makes things a little bit different. I think maybe be stricter on the rules of the ref, like telling you off. I don't
know. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Arnold. Really appreciate it. Would you like any final words? Give any shout outs to anyone?
Yeah, just shout out the big baldy Jack Mason for setting up the interview here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck with your upcoming fight.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers.